Hello, everybody, and welcome to Play Some Video Games, the only gaming podcast celebrating episode 100 this week, ladies and gentlemen. With me this week, well, number one, it's I, your host, Kevin. With us, of course, this week is none other than the big boss man himself, Donnie. Sir, how are we doing this week?
Greetings, Kublings!
That's better. See, right up in there. That's better. You've been very timid the last few episodes. I'm glad you're back in the action there. And also, one of the OG members of Play Some Video Games, Kyle, sir, how are we doing this week, buddy?
Greetings, knacklets. That's a thing, right? Knacklets? I don't know. What do you call little knacks?
No, that's
I guess.
Failure.
Okay. Well, I tried.
Man, 100 episodes in, you still can't get a good catchphrase going.
I know. I'm working on it. Maybe 100 more, I'll get there.
Yeah, well, if you make it, if we make it at this point. But I digress. Everybody, you know, it's been 100 episodes in, and it's a good thing we record at night because it's a night show. And nobody loves a night show more than our very special guest this week. You know him as the mastermind behind Married to the Games, none other than Mr. Gabe Patillo. Sir, how are we doing?
Oh, yes, y'all. Thank you guys so much for having me, man. Congratulations on 100 episodes.
Thank you, sir. Believe me, I said it earlier before we hit the mics. It is our pleasure, believe me, because this would not have happened without you. But before we dive into the whole podcast this week, Donnie, for those of us who haven't had to suffer through 100 episodes of PSVG, maybe only call it like the last 20 or so when we start getting our stride, why don't you go back and tell us kind of the heritage of how this whole thing started before we get in, and then we can lead into why Gabe is here.
So Gabe's here so we can all finally get that sweet, sweet revenge that we've all had. Most of us know each other as fans and listeners and avid listeners of the Married to the Games podcast. And for years, I've listened to Gabe say things about Nintendo. And I'd write him these long essays, and Gabe, you forgot to Zelda's 3DS game. And I decided, I was like, you know what? If he's not going to listen to me, I'm going to start my own podcast. I'll make him listen. I'll start sending him audio files. Right. No.
I'm so proud of you, Donnie.
But yes, we all come from the Married to the Games family, or at least definitely the original version of PSVG. That's kind of where I found everybody. The short end of the story was, for years I'd write these books of information in the Married to the Games forum, just these ridiculously long forum posts. Forums are supposed to be like a chat for people, and I'm in there writing like 9-paragraph essays, like book reports to people.
It was your pulpit. You were preaching to the choir over there.
I really was.
Yeah. He was writing Goosebumps.
At one point, there was like this, I had this screenshot that I think Jason Lacey and I shared. There was this one point where you'd go in there. I was the one that asked for a Married to the Games Nintendo channel. I was like, can I have my own channel, please, so we can like start organizing some of this? And there was this one point where if you went on the home page, there's like 15 or 20 of the most recent threads, and it's just all Donnie. Like the entire thing is just Donnie Reese, all up and down the entire thing. And my wife, more or less, I think it was after I couldn't make it to Married to the Games 100. She was like, you should do this. She's like, you love doing this. Like, you sit here and you write to these people. And I was like calling Married to the Games and like leaving my thoughts on the voicemail line. It's just like, obviously you have a passion for it. You should do it. And I was like, I'd love to do it. And for reasons that we'll get into here in a minute, I just knew that I couldn't do it alone. And I didn't have like a personal group of friends that live nearby me. And I honestly don't even have a personal group of friends that I see in person that even care about video games. So Married to the Games is where I went. Like, those were my friends. The story that I always bring up was when my mom died. You know, I sent out like tweets and Facebook messages at the time. And I was like, hey, I got to go back to Ohio. My mom just passed away. And I got like one family member that was like, I'm sorry to hear that. Let me know. And then I had like 60 people from Married to the Games forums like message me, tweet me, like, guys, dude, we're sorry. I had people offering me their couch. They're like, if you don't have a place, you can't find a hotel, you stay with me. I'm like, oh, we're good. But I mean, it was fantastic. And so when I wanted to do this, that's where I went. And I started a forum post and I was like, guys, I think I want to kind of do this. Is there anybody out there that wants to do it? And Seth and Kevin and Nathan heeded my call. And eventually we got Jason. And all that led to everybody else that eventually came. I don't even remember the order, Kevin. I don't remember the order which we brought in people. I think
it was well, first off, by Seth, you mean Kyle, who's on the podcast.
I'm sorry. Yes.
we're pretty much the same person. It's no big deal.
That's true. Now the original posse was you, myself, Kyle, Jason, and Nathan were the first five, if you will.
Right. And I don't remember how everybody else fell in, but eventually, like, most of us all either listened, still listen, came from there, talked there. Like, that is the origin story. And I know we, like so many others, kind of found each other through Married to the Games. They're big family. It was great. I got to go to Married to the Games 200. And when I was there, I told Gabe then, PSVG 100, that's your spot. I could have brought him on earlier. We could have brought Chris on. Like, we could have brought other people on, but I was like, let's wait until it's something first. Especially if you listen to our first 10 or 15 episodes, they're not so great. I didn't waste the special guest appearance on one of those. So I was like, let's figure it out and do all that first. But now that we've kind of gotten to a groove, I was like, this is the spot. So about a month ago, I sent Gabe that all too cryptic message. I was like, are you ready? And he was like, oh no, what's happening? I was like, PSVG 100's right around the corner. So that's how we got to here.
I'm more than honored to be here and to be asked to be a part of this podcast. And it's been so awesome as, I don't know what you would call this, is like the big brother or the uncle podcast that's birthed so many podcasts after us. It really is cool for us to watch people form their own communities and form their own families and have those things grow too. And it just feels like an extension of the Married to the Games family, and we're so proud to have you guys in the fold and to be able to watch you guys and see what you guys are doing and the game nights that you put together, and it's been really awesome. So I really appreciate getting asked to be on here. It really is an honor.
Thank you, man. It's like I said, it wouldn't have happened without you guys. I've been wanting to podcast for years, could never get a group of people together to do so, but listen to you guys, and there was a lot of other podcasts back then I would listen to, and it just kind of fell into place. Donnie asked me, and I was like, sure. And then I remember that first night we were all sitting down to record. We hadn't really worked things out ever. And it kind of just came down to like, all right, well, who's going to be the host? And I just kind of drew the short straw, and everyone kind of points at, you're going to do it. And I was like, all right, I have zero experience doing this. You know this, right? And it's just kind of, we've all grown into our roles here, but it's amazing. I remember the first time I heard Married to the Games too, it was early on. It wasn't episode 1, but it was probably in the first 10 episodes or so. And I just like fell into the podcast universe, and I was like, all right, let me find a gaming podcast. Let me just search games. And I'm scrolling through a list. I mean, there's hundreds of them out there. We know that. And
yeah,
just the name and the logo for Married to the Games caught my eye. I was like, I'm gonna give this one a shot. And right away it just connected, and I just fell into the community then with Donnie and Kyle and everybody else, and just the rest is history. Leave it at that, I guess.
That's
so
awesome.
Let's jump in, do our weekly check-in, see what everyone's been up to, what we've been playing, if we got any cool stories. I think Donnie probably has the most to talk about as far as how his week went.
Yep, I've been playing Hurricane Irma this week, and today today was good. Today was the first day since last Wednesday that I worked a regular shift at my job. It's also the first day since, or tomorrow will be the first day off since Wednesday. I actually have tomorrow off, so this worked out well. I was so tired earlier today. At like 4 o'clock, you'd see me at my desk, and I was just like angry at the world. My boss was like, do you need to go home? Or are you just going to sit here and pout all day? And I was like, yes, I am, because I've worked literally all week. It was Hurricane Irma was bad, and it was bad, not bad in Atlanta. A lot of people, and when I first said last week that we were going to work, I got a lot of messages. They're like, I didn't even realize what's the big deal in Atlanta. And it's not the big deal in Atlanta. It's not the weather impacts per se. It's the entire state of Florida evacuating into Georgia that causes all kinds of issues. So we had 7 shelters open. All of these resource request missions from FEMA to get water to the shelters, to Atlanta Food Bank, to all these different places. We had all these people. Every hotel room in the entire city was completely packed. Like, we were sold out for an entire week. Not even, and when I say the city, Gabe, you probably know more. I mean like the city, like metro. If you've never been to Atlanta isn't like this. It's not like Houston, the city, the big city. Atlanta actually, when people say the word Atlanta, they usually mean like 35 cities and like 9 counties. Like, that's Atlanta.
That's right.
It's this huge region. So there's a lot of cross jurisdiction stuff that has to happen. You got to work together across governments, and that's kind of what emergency management is. So it was a lot of work for us. And then people got
to realize too that Atlanta's already got a bunch of people in it.
Yeah.
Atlanta does not need a state
Just
to
a
come
few.
to it. Yeah, like when me and my wife go down just to go to IKEA, we're like, dang, where do all these people live at?
That's right. What
Already. So that was the last thing y'all needed.
compounding issues? If you live in a metropolitan area, you probably are familiar. You have like a local chapter of the Red Cross, and they usually put people up in hotel rooms. So like if your house catches on fire and you don't have family or friends or whatnot, like they'll put you in a hotel room. That's really hard to do when every hotel room in the entire city across 9 counties is booked. So like we're standing up shelters for folks that are displaced for effects that don't even have anything to do with Hurricane Irma, because there's nowhere else for them to go. So there's like a lot of these things that we're working through. All in all, I mean, I'm not here to whine, but all in all, Monday I worked from 7 in the morning till 2 a.m., got back at 7 a.m., went to 9 p.m., got back at 8 a.m., went to 8 p.m., and then today, 7 a.m. to 4:30, and then I have tomorrow off. And that was like that was the work. It was like my boss was like, all right, you can have tomorrow off. I'm like, thanks a lot so much for all that. I only worked 3 days, over Monday, but thanks. I appreciate that.
Well, God bless you, Donnie.
It was the strangest thing, because I talked to Donnie and we exchanged probably no less than 50 messages a day probably. But for like the last week, I barely heard a peep out of him. I'm like, hey, is Gabe still on for Monday, for Friday, Thursday? Like, are we even doing this? And he's like, yeah. And that was it. And then I didn't hear really anything from him until like today. And he's like, all right, we're doing this, right? I'm like, okay. So yeah, it's been an odd week. Donnie's been quiet.
It's definitely been, I've definitely been lacking over in the Discord chat. The one thing I did want to say was, I've mentioned to it quite a bit. Like my job, not only is it like coordination and keeping up with all these calls and everything, I do a lot of like programming, and I have like applications and things that we roll out, and I do a lot of mapping, and it's like, it's like big data work. Anybody that does anything like that, I would say it's like mind intensive. Like if I'm sitting there and I change a closing tag that shouldn't close, like the entire system fails, and like I have 1,000 people that are very angry at me. So like yesterday I was really feeling it. Like after like the first you get me for the first 72 hours, I'm good. I feel like my mission, like I feel like I'm helping people. You get me about 72 hours, I'm like, I just want to go home. I don't want to do this anymore. My brain can't function. I can't think. People are asking me like simple math. They're like 2 truckloads of, I'm like, I don't know. I can't. So today I came home at 4:30 and I took a nap. I was like, I'm not going to be able to do this show tonight. So I just came home, went right to bed, set an alarm, I napped for 3 hours, and was woke up by Gabe. Like I wake up, I roll over, I look at my phone. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, oh yeah. Oh. And I just start sending up some gibberish. He's like, video? I'm like, oh yeah, we do that too. I'm sorry. I just woke up. In terms of what I'm playing, Everybody's Golf, Lego Worlds, same stuff. Everybody's Golf's great. I'll let Kyle talk about it. I talked about it too much last week. I did play something that I'll talk about later in the show, but I'll save it.
Ooh, interesting. All right.
Dun, dun, dun.
Teasing. So Kyle, why don't you go then?
I have a really hard job too. I go to work. I come home.
Oh man.
I'm just kidding. Big props to you, Donnie, and all the people down there and all the work we're doing, though. It's awesome to see. Games. Yeah, I've been playing some games. It's been pretty great. I am playing Everybody's Golf to a degree. I jumped in. I really enjoyed it when I first played it for about the first week. Then there was another game that came out that involves a lot of grinding as well. And the amount of grinding you have to do in a golf game is more than I was anticipating. I'm still enjoying the grind. It is the grind that you would have in the past Hot Shots Golf. But then you combine that with another game that I'm playing, what I'll talk about in a second, that has a lot of grinding. It just wasn't quite what I was looking for. So Everybody's Golf, I'm enjoying it. When I play it now, I'm just sitting down and playing the courses that I already have. I'm not really putting any extra effort to unlock more right now. But it is a good game. It is a fun game. It is one of those games that I will probably play off and on for the next 3 years. It's just something that when I am looking for that fix that nothing else will have, Everybody's Golf has it. And it's fun and it's cute. And that dang theme song is so catchy. No matter how much I don't want it to be, it is so catchy. So yeah, playing some Everybody's Golf.
You're going to play that for 3 years because it's taking that long to level up your 3-wood. Like,
I know. That's true. It's very, very true.
It's the strangest thing ever. But
when I came home last night at 10 a.m. and had to go back at at 7 a.m. That's the only thing I played. I sat down, I played 9 holes of Everybody's Golf, and I just vegged out. That's what that game is. It's the turn your mind off game.
Yep, throw on a podcast and play some golf. So it's pretty good. In addition, I actually played The Walking Dead: A New Frontier, the 3rd season of The Walking Dead game. I've had it for quite a while. I've just never gotten around to playing it. So I decided to jump in because I had a free couple days, and I knew I could finish that game in that time. It's fine. It's the... I mean, it's more Walking Dead to a degree. It wasn't quite the story I wanted. I'm interested to see what the final season has in store. I also really need to talk to Coach Mo about it because he said, like, after the end of episode 3, there's going to be a thing that happens and you're going to go one of 2 directions. And he said, we will either be best friends as a result or mortal enemies basically as a result. I'm guessing, based off of what I chose, Coach Mo and I are now mortal enemies. So we'll see. I have to talk to him first. But knowing what my choices were there, I feel like we're going to be mortal enemies. If you're not familiar with the season, Clem is in it, but she's not really the main protagonist, which is kind of weird because the Clem in the season isn't quite who my Clementine is, which makes it kind of interesting because just how she acts and reacts is not quite what I would expect, but still good. I mean, it's the story was fine. It was good enough. I will definitely still play the 4th season because I played the first 3, so I got to figure out how this thing ends up. And they kind of set up what I perceive to be what could be a very interesting story for the 4th one, so I hope it works out that way. Also jumped into Knack 2. The sequel I was waiting for that I don't think anyone else was waiting for.
Are you serious?
I'll play it eventually.
Like when he said it, it sounded like a sales pitch. It's like the ShamWow guy. He's like, I also played Knack 2. He's like waiting for a punchline. I'm like, what?
No, I understand the first Knack wasn't a great game. I think I liked it more than most people did. When they announced Knack 2, I was like, okay, they could do some improvements. This will be good. It's definitely better than the first game. But Knack is a really weird game because the story's not very good.
No.
There's some goblins and some stuff that's happening. They made some big robot things. Cool. That's about all I can tell you about the story. The platforming, though, surprisingly good in this one. The platforming in Knack 2 is excellent. But the combat is ridiculously hard. Like, I'm someone who, like, I love Bayonetta. Like, I love that style of game. But I die constantly in Knack playing it on normal. I might just suck. And that's very possible. But I'm in these fights that I'm like, who is this game for? It's got a dumb story, amazing platforming, and really difficult combat. So how is this a family game? This doesn't make any sense.
As I say, not kid friendly.
No, the combat's really hard. Now, if you put it on easy, it might be, but on normal, I'm getting my butt handed to me. I don't understand what's going on. So they did definitely increase the amount of moves and all of the stuff you can do, and it's fun. It's more fun to play than the first one was. You have a lot more options, which in and of itself makes the game more entertaining. But the combat's surprisingly challenging. So I'm about halfway through, I would guess. It is the game I play when I need a break from the game I'm playing the most, and that is Destiny 2. I played the first Destiny up to level 12. Destiny 2, I'm currently level 20. My power level's 267, I think. So I'm making some progress there. Not quite where I want to be because I would like to do this raid someday, but I want to get a little higher before that happens. But tried to do the Nightfall Strike today or yesterday with some friends and got to the final boss. And we lost because we ran out of time. He had like a third of his health bar left. And we're like, so close. Because we were trying to get it done for the PSVG clan. So you should join up into that if you'd like. But yeah, I'm really enjoying Destiny 2. It grabbed me much more than the first one did. I think the shooting obviously feels great, but there's just so much more to do and so much more to run around and do. I am getting to the point now where, the grind up to 250 or 260 wasn't too bad. Man, now I feel like I'm fighting for every point of power to go up some, and it's definitely taking longer, which I expected. I wish it was a bit faster than it is, but we'll get there. So, yep, that's the game I've definitely been putting the most time into. Enjoying it thus far. It definitely, the whole shader thing, whatever. I personally don't really care. I think my character looks pretty stupid right now, but I think I'm switching things all the time, so my character always looks stupid. So maybe having set shaders would fix that. But it's a good time. I'm enjoying it. And I definitely, like I said, if you are playing and need a clan to join, you should join the PSV Guardians. I don't know how that's supposed to be said, but you should totally do it because it's pretty great. But that's what I've been playing.
Yeah, I've been playing that too. So unlike you, I played Destiny 1 even less because I got on that train real late to the point that I picked up GameStop like used for like $3. I'm like, all right, let me just try vanilla Destiny, see if I like it so I can jump all in on Destiny 2 because people will still be playing it. So glad I got it. It is a great game. I'm normally not big into the whole multiplayer thing, but this one is fun as heck. So I've been grinding away on that too. I'm not as far as you, Kyle, or pretty much anybody else. I just don't have the time. But I hit level 17 this morning, I think. So I'm not that far behind, but I still have a couple more planets to reach. I kind of clear everything in the planet, all the adventures and everything before even moving on to the next one. So I'm going real slow.
I'm the same exact way.
Yeah, I think it's the best way of doing it because I feel I know a couple of our friends have gone through, played the whole campaign, and then went back and did the adventures. In my mind, if you're level 20 going back to the first planet and doing the adventures, it's got to be so easy. Like I like having some challenge to it. So
well, that's what Chris McCracken over on our podcast we were talking about as I was making my way up because I'm with you guys. Like I haven't been able to sink a bunch of time into it. I am level 20. I think like 201 on whatever the power thing is or whatever, and they were like, oh man, just finish the story, then come back and do the adventures because you'll be OP by then. And I'm like, yeah, but that's no challenge if I'm OP.
Exactly, I'm with you. That's how I like to play. So I'm going slow and steady wins the race here. We'll see. I'll meet you guys in the raid someday when I get to that point, but give me another week or so. I'll probably hit level 20. Other than that, I've just been sinking more time into that Mario and Rabbids game. So just like Kyle said with Knack 2, that game may look like it's for kids, but it is not for kids. That game is hard. That yet? No, dude, I only played during lunch because Destiny, man. Destiny's the first game in a long time that has me thinking about it when I'm not playing it. Like I'm planning out when's the next time I can play Destiny. Mario Rabbids, that's my lunch break. At work, I go on my lunch break, have my Switch with me, play Mario Rabbids. But when I'm home, Destiny 2 is all I'm playing right now. So I did beat the third level 3, World 3 today. So I beat the World 3 boss. How's that boss? That was the toughest match I had so far, but it's only because I did the same thing everyone else does. You drop Luigi because you don't think Luigi's that good, but then on that boss, Luigi was like the superstar. So don't sleep on Luigi there. That's the biggest thing I can say. Kind of the biggest advice everyone's saying that's beating the game where is like, don't sleep on Luigi, but it's good. Anyway, that's enough for me. So Gabe, your life is probably more interesting than ours. I know you went to PAX, you're traveling, because I mean you're a superstar and we're just nobody. So
come on. I mean, I did go to PAX and everything, but we're gonna leave the superstar stuff behind. I just got back today from Kansas, somewhere far away from Nashville.
Yep, because that's what superstars do.
Exactly, is go to Kansas.
Harsh.
To further my point. To further my point of not being a superstar, that's exactly right.
Someone who lives in Iowa, you got to be a little careful about that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to get something in because tonight I came home. You know, like I said, my whole week's been a mess. I haven't really even like seen my family. And my wife saw like, what are you doing? She's like, she's like hugging on me and stuff. And I'm like, I got to get ready to podcast. And she's like, you're podcasting tonight? You just got here? I was like, yeah, it's PSVG 100. She's like, really? That's cool. She's like, you're not flying all of your friends to Nashville? I was like, no, we can't do that. And I was like, but Gabe's on the show. And she's like, Gabe's on the show? Can I watch? I'm like, now you want to watch. Now. We've done 100 of these episodes. Yeah. She's a huge fan of Toby Mac and all that. She's a singer. Gabe's a singer. Like, so she's got all that. She didn't care about anything about video games. She's just all about, I think she's hoping that we all break out into like song.
Nobody's hoping for that.
We could be a quartet right now.
No.
What's the problem? Y'all don't want to do that?
Not
the
qualified.
lab would make it sound incredible. We've done it on our podcast. We just sing Thornfeld Swamp every week. It's awesome.
That's right.
So just got back from Kansas today. Had a show there at the Kansas State Fair last night. It was awesome. The weather was beautiful. I've been playing. I'm like you guys, man. I've been playing Destiny and dreaming about Destiny and thinking about Destiny, wondering what is my Destiny. So excited to get back to Destiny, and I got this doggone job in the way that I always got to go do instead of playing Destiny with my friends. But super excited about that. I did go out and get Mario plus Rabbids. What's it supposed to be called?
Mario
and
Kingdom Battle. I don't know. It's weird.
X Rabbids.
Yeah, anyway. Mario X Rabbids.
I went and got that because I was a super big XCOM fan. I know some of you guys said that you guys didn't play XCOM. I was a big XCOM guy, so I was excited to jump into it. And I did jump in. I jumped in on we had a boring day down at, because we played Disney World last week, and with the hurricane coming, there was no Disney going on. So I sat in the hotel room.
Mickey Mouse was the audience. Gabe's other singing Toby Mac. It's just Mickey Mouse, all the characters. And
you have no idea how true that is. That's pretty much what it was. So it was Mario and Rabbids and Mickey Mouse for me last week. And so, but I haven't had a huge draw to come back. I don't know why just yet. I'm still at the beginning, like, where I can choose which world to go to. Mm-hmm. And you kind of have that like headquarters and all the little buildings that you can go into and do stuff. So I'm there still at the beginning, but I did like it when I was playing it. I just haven't had that huge draw to get back into it. But loving playing it on my Switch, loving being able to have that wherever I go, on the plane or in the bus or lonely in a hotel room in Disney World. And so so that's been good. Everything else, man, has just been being a dad, being a husband, being a traveling husband, trying to be supportive while I'm gone, and podcasting with my guys over at Married to the Games, and them kind of moving their schedules around for me. And then I get to go down to Dallas next week and pick up where Donnie's leaving off and try to raise some money for some people in Houston and singing songs to try to help those folks that have been misplaced. So
I was about to say, you just did that recently too, right? You guys raised over 200,000.
Yes, we raised, in like an hour and a half. It was incredible. I couldn't believe it. They were like, when we got there, they were like, it was this thing that was thrown together real fast. And these guys were like, Gabe, will you come down and sing on this song and beatbox on this song and sing on this song? I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah. Whatever, for Houston. Yeah, of course. And we went down there and they were like, all right, we have a goal of $100,000. Like, what are y'all doing? $100,000? No.
Gabe's like, I also have a goal of
I'm like, I had a goal of $50. So let's not get carried away. And we ended up raising, over $210,000. And so we were like, oh my gosh. So it was awesome that the people stepped up in that way. And I was just so blessed to be a part of it, and hoping that money's going to change people's outlook and outcome of what could have been. And hopefully we're helping some people. So I know it's like puts a small dent in the grand scheme of things, but
it goes a long way.
Yeah, every little bit counts.
We hope it does.
Really does.
Yeah, we hope it does. Yeah. So that's it for me, man. I haven't really been doing too much crazy. I wish I was gaming a little bit more, but we're gonna get it in next week when I get back in town.
There you go.
I think that Kingdom Battles thing, Gabe, I think it's that first world. That first world's kind of bland. It actually doesn't really even pick up until like the boss. Yeah, like you don't even really have a whole lot of fun with that first world until the end. Like even the puzzles and stuff there is just kind of generic Mario type stuff.
Yeah, okay, that's good to hear, because I did like get to was it like a piranha or something like that?
That's the mid boss.
I was like, oh snap! I was like,
we did a review of it, and
people started dying. I was like, oh.
I kept telling Kevin and Jason, everybody like in our chat, like there's a boss. The World 3 boss is fantastic. Like the cutscene,
it's
entire game is worth playing to that point. Like, don't give up on it.
Really,
you get to World 3 boss. Like you're gonna be like, wow, especially you. Like you're all into
okay, good.
Like especially you. So
yeah.
Oh yes, I'm so excited. Okay, good. All right. I'll play it on the bus.
Now you just gotta get there.
Drive to Pennsylvania. Ugh.
Just got to get there. You'll appreciate it. So it's funny. So in the chat right now, Eric Green's on there, and he was like, "What? Why did nobody tell me Gabe was coming on?" Dude, that has been the worst kept secret. We've been doing it. We've been dropping hints for a while. Donnie's been
did a video.
Yeah,
I totally
very obvious.
I went on the Delvin Cox show like a month ago. I was like, "Yep, totally. Gabe's coming." Like,
man.
All right, let's move before it gets ugly. Let's jump in. You've heard enough from us, everybody, so now it's time to listen to you guys, and it's time to check the messages. Our first one comes from @TrashTurkey. What should I buy? I have $80 left of birthday money. Should I get a SNES Classic? Super Mario Brothers 2DS? A Switch game? What are your thoughts? So, Donnie, where's that money best well spent?
That's a good question. I think most folks here will say the SNES Classic. So I'll try to take a different approach and go with get yourself a 3DS. The 3DS has a lot of the SNES games, especially the heavy hitters that you can already get on the 3DS, plus an entire other library that you can play. It's a little late in the game, but if you don't have one and you've never played it, there's 20 or 30 games I could highly recommend at budget prices for you to play. Like there's a whole content library there for you to go grab. So $80, that's where I'd lean.
I totally forgot Donnie was a SNES person. And every time he says it, it just, I
get so much heartburn for this. No idea. Every week I get tweets from Jace. He's like, I was listening to the show and then you said SNES and I turned it off.
Yeah. I forget sometimes. Reasonable request. So I have this really awesome copy of Yakuza Kiwami still in the plastic, $15. And then you still have all this money left. But to be honest, of that $80, I think, yeah, this mini I think is the way to go, especially with it looking like stock, is going to be pretty plentiful based off of the things that were coming out today and yesterday about how many units folks are given. So I would definitely go with the SNES Mini, just because realistically, for that price, the amount of games you're getting is great, and you're getting a lot of great games. Yes, buying like a 3DS would be a good idea because you'd have a back library that you could access, but then you still have to buy those games. So if you don't have the ability to wait for Virtual Console on Switch, like I'm trying to do, I would definitely go with the SNES Mini.
Mr. Patillo.
Probably Destiny 2. And then you have some money left over. Oh man, the SNES Classic is going to be something that's wanted by everyone, but it's hard, man. I'm kind of with Donnie, but if you already have a Switch, I don't know if you need to go buy a 2DS. Did he say 2DS or 3DS?
2DS.
Yeah, he said he didn't have a 2DS or a 3DS. He specifically asked for the 2DS, but I was just kind of thinking the handheld in general.
Yeah, I think if you have a Switch already, oh man, I gotta say, go get a SNES, man. And I'm not a SNES guy. I'm just saying it because I'm in somebody else's house right now, and I'm trying to be polite. I would say SNES because SNES is ridiculous to say. But while on somebody else's, when in Rome, call it a SNES.
No, I'm all by myself.
He's the only one that refers to it as a SNES anyway, Gabe, so nobody else calls it that.
I know y'all call him the boss. I'm gonna listen to the boss. Y'all can do what y'all want.
All right, fair
he's always telling me to keep the podcast shorter, and so I say SNES instead of Super Nintendo, right? Like we say it so much week to week, like the amount of time that can be saved if we all just said SNES. So we're talking 10 to 15 minutes a show. Yes.
No, man, SNES. Just say that SNES.
It's an extra second. Just do it.
I would say go with the SNES, I think.
Yeah, I'm with everybody else. All the right people are saying it. So the SNES Classic, I think, is the way to go. 2 reasons. Number one, you don't have to buy any games for it. They're already there. And if you haven't played them, then there's a plethora of stuff there that's totally worth your time to play. And then if the SNES Classic isn't your thing, then you turn around and sell it for probably 3 or 4 times what it's worth anyway. So then you have more money to buy games with. So
I'll say Reggie said don't do that. Reggie said do not do that.
Reggie said don't buy it. Reggie didn't say don't sell it.
He said don't buy it from people that are selling it.
Yep.
That's kind of the same thing.
No, that's okay.
I agree with the boss still.
Thank you, Gabe.
Fair enough. All right, next one comes from Josh Stapleton. If you were to start all over again, what would you change? So I guess with Gabe, you have to say what would you change with Married to the Games? And I guess us will refer to this. Or Gabe, you could tell us what we should have changed in PSVG back in the day, too. It's up to you.
Oh, man. I'm not a regrets guy. And I feel like everything, any mistakes in my life that I've made personally or that we've made on the podcast, I think are all for growth. And so I don't think with the podcast I would change anything. I think especially we've got what we call the MTTG historian over on our Discord. And he's going back through all the old episodes and telling us kind of what happened in the early episodes and what changed and what's, when, certain things were introduced that we do every show now. And so I think that, there's something sweet about having terrible shows at first and then having better shows now. Like if you're always awesome, then you're not really going anywhere. I'd rather climb a mountain with my buddies and in this podcast thing than have been at the top and we just never changed and that's how we did it forever. And so I don't think I would change anything. I mean, of course, I've made some empty promises, probably like, I think we're going to start doing this and said that on the podcast and then we never got around to doing it. But I mean, you live and you learn. So I don't think I would change anything.
Fair enough. Kyle, anything you would have changed?
So 2 small things I could think of. I think the first thing I would have liked to have done is recorded a podcast that we never published for our first one. Because I think that it would have been cool to see to help maybe work out a couple of the bugs. Those first ones are really bad. Like really, I tried to go back to listen to them. I'm like, I can't even do this. I can't listen to how bad these are anymore. Like they're just not good.
I'm going to delete them eventually. It's just one day in the still of the night, they're just going to be gone.
The other thing I would do actually is really similar to what Gabe just said, is I have definitely had a lot of really good intentions for things I wanted to do for the website that I just don't have time to do, you know. And I think that I think of these things that I want to do them and they seem really, really cool, but then, you know, the whole kids and wives and knives of, well, dogs for me and wives and 9 to 5 get in the way, and it makes it really challenging to do these things. And I want to do more, and there's always I have all these ideas swimming around, and it's just trying to prioritize what to do. So I think being a little more careful and start, hey, putting things out and then talking about them rather than talking about the things I want to do and having them never go to fruition, I think is something I would have changed, and I am trying to do better now moving forward.
Fair enough. I think, yes, the old episodes are hard to go back and listen to. I agree with Kyle there, but I think it's a learning experience, man. I mean, none of us start off as professionals. You know, none of us worked in the radio biz or anything like that, where, you know, you might feel a little more comfortable behind the mic. So it's more just a learning experience. So, do I wish I can go back and kind of update them? Sure. Let's do a remix edition. You know, an upscaled HD edition of the original episodes. Let's just go back and re-record them as if it just happened. But yeah, no regrets overall. Donnie, anything you change?
PSVG episode 1's the first time we ever talked to each other. Like, we're very transparent. It's open. It's there. So it's not good. I wouldn't. Please don't go and listen to it and then delete us from your subscription. But in terms of regrets, well, I mean, regrets not really even the question. The question is, what would you change? So it's not that I even have any regrets per se. I was real hard on the website, especially on the staff, like when we first started, because I wanted to do like a website, a blog. I mean, I already made mention to my book reports that I'd write over at MTTG. So I think I put too much pressure on folks to do that, and I kind of feel bad about that, because I never wanted people to feel burned out. It's just trying to keep up with the buzz is difficult. Also,
I think feel like too, Donnie, like I feel like me and you share a similar seat when you have a vision and then wanting to cast that vision, and then you want people to grab hold of that vision and be as passionate as you are. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like, you know, where Married to the Games has become such a baby of mine, and to watch this be your thing, the PSVG thing. And so it's so hard. I totally get what you're saying when you're like, man, I don't want to put these expectations on other people too harshly, but still I want it to be really good because I think that we have something really good. You know what I'm saying? I totally get you on that.
100%. There's been so many times where I'm like, it's hard for me to project my passion on anybody, because I feel not to demean anybody else's passion, but I feel like mine's somewhat irrational. Like, you know, like we have, you know, like I have that type of reputation. And I mean, there's been so many times where I'm like, we have to do this, we have to do this, we have to do that, because, you know, this is what either folks expect of us, or this is what other people are doing. And we've, like I said, we've really kind of come back from that. And we've swapped the website design 9 or 12 times. Like I've redesigned the entire website 10 or 12 times over every time, like we kind of blend into things. And I think now we've got a really good spot, you know, like we primarily promote our podcast. We still have blogs, but they're not as constant and they're not going up every day. We're not about site content and clicks. And we've never really been about clicks as far as like advertising. We don't make any money, but it's always been about like clicks, as we want people to, like, we want to see our audience. We want to interact with them. And now we've just kind of transitioned all of that to Discord and Twitter, and then the site just kind of becomes the place that we reference. You know, it's like, so I did this today, you can check it out, go here. And it's more of that type of thing. Also, I think I was really like inclusive early on, like especially early on. Like I wanted the more the better, and then like I never really kind of realize like what that would turn into when you get like 10, 12, 15 people like, I haven't been on the podcast in a month. And I'm like, well, you know, so like, you know, maybe if I'd done that, maybe I stepped down, you know, like Gabe, we just brought Tyler on, and I think he's a great example of my growth. I kind of put Tyler through the ringer before we brought Tyler on. I was like, all right, I made him answer all these questions. I made him email me. Like I made him do a review. Like I really was like
background checks.
Exactly right.
I swap the inside of his mouth and fit it into ancestry.com.
I need you to pee in this cup, sir.
Exactly. I was, because, you know, like we don't need another person, you know, that just like falls in line. Like we needed like a specific. I was looking for a specific person, like streamers. And I know Gabe, like you guys did that. Like you guys pushed that YouTube channel. This is where like Ed and Chris got involved, and like you held back and you wanted to blow it up. And like I tried to do the same thing. We started off great, and then it came down. So like when I started looking for new people, like it was that focus in mind. I was like, I really need somebody to take Twitch. Like we don't have enough people. Nobody's doing. Please, like this is what I'm looking for. And we've had all kinds of people that come through.
Oh. And it's I appreciate watching you because you have this open-armed, open-hand, trusting thing that I do not possess. I'm like, oh no, it's okay, we got it. Like we'll do it. You know what I'm saying? And it's such an ugly thing. It's an ugly part of my personality. But like from watching Toby, I've been with Toby Mac for 15 years, and watching him like meticulously do his thing and it work is kind of like splashed onto me to where I'm like, no, I know what we're doing, so I'll handle it and we'll do it right. And bringing Chris and Ed in were the first time that I brought in people that weren't just on the podcast, because I realized that Tim and Tim weren't going to YouTube. So I was like, all right, well, if we want a YouTube channel, I would have to go somewhere else. But it's been cool, even with talking to you at 200. And I feel like we had another conversation. When we were talking about the Switch, and you were just talking about you guys' staff and how things go and everything. I was like, man, Donnie has got this thing up and going quick. I'm like, it's still just the four of us. You know what I'm saying? And before Chris and Ed, it was just the three of us, and it's never been any more than that. And so it's we made Paolo like a admin on the forum, which like is almost dead. You know what I'm saying? So but that was like as far as we went. So I tip my hat to you, because I wish I had more of that in me, more of that trusting everybody's going to do their job right thing. I just don't.
My boss hates that about me too.
Yeah.
And then I get the text messages like 11 o'clock at night. Donnie doing, Kevin, what do I do? How do I fix this? Why did you let me do this?
Yeah,
it's like that with my wife. I'm like, you ain't see that I brought home this many donuts? I told you were supposed to stop me before I got to this third donut. You said you are my life partner. What, you want me to die? You want me to die?
Crazy. I mean,
so I understand the struggle.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, Donnie, you pushing us to do more though. So you think about like, so it's 100 episodes of the official show, but then we've done all the E3 stuff. We did, the review cast. So looking at the site right now, we have 140 official reviews. 140. Awesome. But most of those we didn't buy the games for. Like, just we got out there and just pushed, and people were like, hey, review this game.
Oh
hey,
man, do you remember when we got our first code, Gabe? When we got our first review code? Oh God, I'm almost embarrassed to say. Like, I did like this entire site call. Like, I was like, no. I got like this hangout. I was like, we all have to talk right now. Like, we got a code. Everybody get together. It was so like I treated it like it was like the biggest deal.
It is a big deal. You know what I'm saying? All growth is a big deal. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I love. That's why I like being on the show, because I knew that like I feel like your personality when it comes to this is similar to mine. And so I was like, I was so excited when you asked me to be on here, because I was like, man, because I know Donnie is doing his best with PSVG. You know what I mean?
I would say the one thing that I've always done, or at least like when Kevin and I have talked about like where we wanted to go and how we wanted to do it, because Kevin's my co-chair, like Kevin's my manager. As I said before, we have events like this, like My Job, My Life. Gabe, I think you can really, really empathize. Like, I don't have it in me to commit every Thursday, every week. Like, there are weeks that it's just not going to happen. I knew I needed somebody to like pick up and, go. But when I am involved, I really feel like I've never asked anybody on the site to do anything that I haven't done, and haven't done many times, and haven't done first. Like, anytime we've ever like, we're going to do reviews, I got the first one. We're going to do podcast review, I got the first one. Like, I've always helped. I stop, I show people. If people don't have time, I'm like, send it to me, I'll do it. Like, it's very much like I have that like it's my baby approach, but I've always kind of like tried to just empower other people without like feeling like I never wanted to come off as like, I need more from you right now. I've always tried not to do that. It's always like, see what I'm doing? We should all kind of do more of that.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next question. We got a few more here on here. So Eric Green jumps in. What do you guys think about the DMCA takedown on PewDiePie's videos by the developer of Firewatch? I side with the developer. So unless you've been under a rock, you guys know where I stand with PewDiePie. How many second chances does this guy get? Like, seriously. I'm completely fine with that. I think any developer that has an issue with what he's putting out there and it's their content, by all means, copyright, take it down. I'm okay with that. We've had it done to us. We've done reviews on stuff and put up some video, and they're like, no, you can't use that audio. I'm like, you guys gave us the code. Why are you doing copyright infringement? But they'll stop it. They'll take down the videos, and, you know, it's ultimately it's their content, so I completely understand. But, man, this guy just needs to go away. That's all I got to say on the issue.
I'm sick and tired of talking about PewDiePie. Like, I couldn't care. I've never watched it. I really don't care. But like the legality of what the question is kind of where I'm interested. So the real question really that I have is, did he buy the game or not, or did they provide the game to him? If they provided the game to him, then I feel like maybe they have a say. If he bought the game, then his stream is his content. It's not their content. Like, he bought the game. Why do they have ownership of anybody that's streaming a game that they purchase? Like, well, that I don't understand.
If you buy a pay-per-view on TV, you can't broadcast that pay-per-view. You paid for it, but you can't.
Right, but you can't broadcast any pay-per-view. You can broadcast a game. Like, why does the personal opinion all of a sudden now takes your right away? So now you're saying because they don't like you, you don't have the right to stream it as anybody else? Everybody else can. That's the difference. The difference is everybody else can. I can't stream the Pacquiao fight. Like, that gets taken down immediately. It's not allowed. Everybody can stream Firewatch. You can't police that. What they're doing right now is a marketing push. That's a stand. Oh, yeah. They don't agree with everybody that streams Firewatch's personal opinions. I stream Firewatch. Maybe they don't agree with me. I say SNES. Maybe they don't like that. They don't come take down Firewatch. Like,
there's a big difference between Donnie saying SNES and this guy being like, I like Nazis. Let's play. You know, it's. Gabe, what's your thoughts?
Oh man, PewDiePie. It's so tough because, you know, I never, you know, I'm too old now. Like, I'm too old to understand his humor, you know? And so before the first thing happened, the first big deal happened, I decided, I was like, you know, let me click around and see what this guy's about. He's the biggest YouTuber on the planet. He's got the most subscriptions out of anybody. And I know he started out gaming. So let me just go check him out. And, I watched 4 or 5 videos and I'm like, all right, he's extremely foul. And, you know, he screams a lot. He's not particularly funny to me, but I can understand why a 12-year-old would think he's funny because he's using words that they can't use yet in the house. And so, you know, there's probably like that bad boy side of like, ooh, I'm watching this guy that's doing all these things that I wish I could be doing and yelling and screaming and stuff like that. So I can understand his rise to popularity. Obviously, when he goes in with the anti-Semitic stuff, you're like, okay, like, all right. And then, you know, his rebuttal was, you know, I was showing how far things could be pushed and how ridiculous it is. And so you're like, okay, like, but like, that's what you're saying to the Jews? Is that your point? That's you're sorry? And so, you know, that was weak sauce for me personally. And then, so I after that happened, I started watching him a little bit more just to see if he would change his tune. Because he did come out and say, like, I'm not going to be as foul, or I'm not going to, you know, I'm going to try to tone it back a little bit. So I was like, well, let me see what that PewDiePie is about. And so I watched a little bit and, you know, again, just I just don't find him funny personally. And so, you know, it's just hard to watch. It's like, you know, it's like watching, you know, everybody's telling me to watch Arrow. And it'd be like, it's what I'd imagine watching that show was like for me. Like, you just kind of sit there with a blank face the whole time. And you're like, all right, well, Arrow started and it's over. And all right, that's awesome. That happened. And so that's just me personally. I know people say I'm missing out. That's just me personally.
Well, Arrow's not racist though. So I'm just saying.
Yeah. So then this next thing comes along where he uses the N-word and this guy, you know, and he uses the N-word playing PUBG. And then the guys from Firewatch are like, we don't like him anymore. And so we don't want him to broadcast our stuff. So I understand what Donnie's saying, right? But I still think that as an art creator, a creator of art, I wouldn't necessarily want the music I wrote being played in a strip club. Like, that's not what I write it for. That's not where I would want it. I wouldn't want my kids to know that my music was getting played in a strip club. Just like I wouldn't want if I made video games and then posted it and then this guy is just yelling all kind of crazy stuff and using GD and MF and all kind of whatever language on the sun. I think it's their right to be like, you know, we don't want this. So anytime he puts up a thing that we're involved with, we're going to tag it and say, take it down. And so do I think they're picking on him? Yeah. But when you're the biggest fish in the sea, you're the one that's going to get picked on. So I understand that they're not going to know everybody that's, that's doing fire watching if they agree or not agree with his personal standings. It's just funny to me that he would use the N-word right after doing a video that says, don't lump me in with the white supremacists and the Nazis. I'm against that. And then you use the N-word in the way he used it. It's not like he used it in a way that was like he was joking around or he was doing something satirically and was like, and then this guy said to this guy, you know what I'm saying? He said it like he says it not in front of the camera. He says it like he says it to his boys at lunchtime. That's the problem I was like, whoa, that came out real easy. That came out real fast.
No
he
hesitation.
ain't even put a pause in there. Yeah, and so, to me, I understand their point. And if it was me, I might be like, I don't want PewDiePie playing my games either. Not if you're going to be screaming like that, because I want to be able to go home and be like, hey, look at all these cool streamers that are playing my game. Man, if they want to tag them and say YouTube, hey, man, take his stuff down, then I think that's their right to do that. And it's up to YouTube whether they, do it or not.
Fair enough. Kyle, your thoughts, sir?
There's been many times on this podcast. Well, I should say there's been many times when Donnie's been on a podcast that I have not, that he has said something that I'm like, man, I wish I was
like
on the
N-word?
podcast. No, never the N-word. But he says something that I'm like, man, I wish I was on there because I have some thoughts for Donnie, but no one else is pushing him hard. So I'm going to push Donnie a little bit here. Donnie, I love you, man. I love you. You're just wrong. Like, you're flat out wrong. Courts have said over and over that anytime you purchase a game, you do not own the game. You are purchasing a license to use that product, which can be revoked at any point by the person who created or is granting you that license.
That has nothing to do with the ability to stream it, though.
Absolutely, it does. It's your ability to use that product. So if they could say, hey, we want you never to be able to play our game, ideally, maybe they would want to be able, they don't have that ability. So the best thing they can do is say, you know what, you can't use our product to make money. So courts, that is a very clear thing. There's no doubts about that. It's why the same reason that songs get copyrighted. It's the same reason that Nintendo monetizes videos that people post that have Nintendo product. They could say no. They choose not to. Firewatch could say no to everyone if they want to. We're going to let everyone do it. But you know what? If you're doing something we don't like, we're going to revoke your right to do that because you're not falling in line with how we want our product represented. They're fully within. Now, you might think that's stupid or not okay, but they're 100% within their right.
I'm not defending PewDiePie. I don't care about this person at all. Like, I think you all need to stop watching anything he does. Like, I just don't get it.
And that's what I was saying. I don't know if they're going to be able to take his videos down, but I think to just send up a flare saying we don't want him to do any more of the games that we have, and we're going to try to use these measures. I think that's okay for them to do that.
It all comes down to YouTube is not a government thing. It's not a constitutional right to stream.
Exactly.
Right. Like, so like he could totally, if they took the videos down, he could put them up on his own website or anything. Like, he doesn't have, like, it's not his right to put them up to YouTube. So I get that. I'm more or less, I feel like I'm defending him and I don't want to. I feel like I've been painted this corner. I'm more or less defending the action of singling out this one person and saying, nope, we don't like you because it's in our best interest now. So now we're going to take it away from you. Like, if you're going to do it to him because of that reason, do it to more people.
I mean, in other news, Donnie, I guess you should probably stop screening PewDiePie to start twitching for us broadcast, because it seems like everyone's against you in this one. So I don't think it's a good idea.
I completely condemn everything he said and all that. I just,
Donnie, I totally understand what you were saying. And I'm not saying even that I disagree with you. I'm just saying they're well within their rights to do what they're doing.
That's true.
I think the downfall actually to them is they have on their website a little statement that's like, hey, streamers, stream our game. That's what actually might catch them more than anything. But typically, any publisher of a video game is within their right to do that. Again, not saying I agree or disagree with it, but that is their right to say, hey, you can or cannot use our content.
Fair enough. I think you got the point there. All right, so next question from Josh. Now that Doom has been announced for the Nintendo Switch, which we'll discuss a little bit more later, what would be the appropriate price for it?
Like, it's going to be anything other than $60.
Yeah, so there's two different things here, Josh. GameStop is already accepting pre-orders at a $60 price point for it, but I feel like 30 is right, because that's kind of what they're doing now, and they're throwing in all the DLC, and it's obviously going to look a little bit better. The screenshots so far we've seen, it does look incredible to be playing on the Switch. But yeah, I don't think we're going to see anything less than the 60, to be honest.
Skyrim is $60. Skyrim.
That's crazy. That is insane.
And it doesn't even have mods, and it's still $60.
That's like if they were like, "Hey man, I want you to pay $2.95 for this gallon of milk," except that this gallon of milk came out in 2009. Oh man, Skyrim for real. Like, I literally feel like I should be able to play it on my smartphone, and they want to charge $60 to play it on the Switch. That's ridiculous.
Next year, keep waiting. Bethesda's putting that thing on everything. So,
how does that work? How does that work? Why is that game ever? I don't understand why that game is everywhere.
It's becoming Minecraft. Like it's gonna be on every platform. It's insane.
Gracious.
It's
that junk. I think I saw it on a flip phone last week.
Right next to Snakes. You're playing Snake.
Yeah, exactly. I was playing Snake and then multitasked over to Skyrim on my freaking Nokia such and such.
So I don't think we're even gonna answer that, Josh. There's your thing right there. It's gonna be 60, but it shouldn't be. Donnie, why don't you read the next one? Because I feel like this one's directed strictly at you.
It is. Kalo writes in and goes, "Congrats, guys, gals, episode 100. As a gamer, I always enjoy the passion that Team PSVG brings to the table, even if it's just plain wrong. Hashtag Chibi Final Fantasy 15. Gabe, I liked the Chibi mobile game that they announced and showed. I thought it was neat. I like the idea of streamlining that giant RPG, and I said I'd probably be more apt to play it on Switch if it was that game versus a port of the original, and everybody hates me for it. It's just commonplace for me, just like the PewDiePie thing. Everything I said, just hashtag Donnie's wrong. Apparently, I'm just like on this island over here, so. Okay, Donnie Island. You got PlayStation Island with lots of people, you get Donnie Island. Nobody's over here, it's just me.
Where Donnie approves. So bad. It's just the island where Donnie approves of racist streams and playing everybody.
Oh no! Don't even! Don't even!
That's how rumors get started.
All right, so our last question comes from none other than Nathan Thomas. He has twofold question. So the first half is: have you guys thought about podcasts as an audio log that one day your kids, grandkids, and on would be able to listen to find out more about you? So we'll start with that half first. Kyle, what are your thoughts?
I hope to goodness that by that time, Donnie has deleted the beginning episodes of the podcast. And I have never thought of that. And now I feel a lot more pressure than I did before. Thanks a lot, Nathan.
Fair enough. Donnie, your thoughts?
Yes. It's actually something I tell my boss and I tell colleagues and friends and people I find, and I think it's really cool because anytime I ever show anybody our YouTube channel, the very first thing I get, Gabe, tell me if you've ever heard this. It's like, are you making money on this? Do you know that there are YouTubers make millions of dollars? Like, it's the very first thing, and I'm like, it's not about that. I'm not doing that. First counterpoint to that statement is, check this out. We have this YouTube channel that has like 200 videos, and 50 of them are me like talking with my daughter over a Nintendo Direct or watching E3 with my kids. When you see Metroid, and I'm like, oh my God, and it's like, it's neat to think about that. I think we are living on the cusp of that generation to where one day when I'm no longer here, my kids are feeling sentimental about me on my birthday or something. Be able to go to YouTube and type something in and like relive that memory. I don't have that with my family. I know we've had movies, but it's all like hard media, and like especially if your parents were from like the 80s and stuff, like some of that stuff's even hard to play. You gotta like keep archaic, VHS tapes and things like that. Like this generation could very well be the generation that's like, you could live an entire lifetime completely surrounded by your family, whether they're here or not. That's so cool. It's a neat thing to think about, and I have no idea what that looks like 40 years from now, but I think it will be an impactful change to society.
Well said. Gabe, you got some little ones. Has that thought popped in your head?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh shoot, man, I done said a lot of bad stuff about Remy, so I should probably start turning that around.
But he's still here. So
he's still here. Oh, Remy's still here. All right, he's not going anywhere. No, I have thought about it, and I do think it's cool. I'm with Donnie. It's like, it's really cool to think that like when I'm 80, I'll be able to be like, hey, there was this website called YouTube.com, and we used to do all this, that, and the other, and me and these guys used to talk about video games all the time, and and stuff like that. And like, here, look, this was when Remy, this is when you were born. And Milo, this is when you were born. And this is when great grandma died. And this is when Tim's dad was cured of cancer. You know what I'm saying? So we have all these, we've had so much things happen on the podcast over the last almost 5 years. I think we're like a month away from being 5 years old. And so much has happened. And so it'll be definitely very cool to be able to look back and be like, if ever, and even I tell the kids now, like, if ever you're missing daddy, you can always bring up the YouTube, or the podcast and just listen to me and my buddies talk, because they love the guys on the podcast. They know Chris, they know Ed, they know Tim. And so, it's definitely, I haven't thought about it like that really deeply, but I have had those glancing thoughts of like, the stuff that we're making now will probably be here forever. And that's weird. And it's going to be easily accessible. Like Donnie's saying, like, I don't even have a VCR player. Like, if they want to show me my kids' videos, like, there's no way for me to do that in my house. And we didn't really grow up with money like that. And so we didn't have a big old video recorder following us around as children. But it'll be cool and it'll be easy. And hopefully, same thing with Instagram and Twitter, like Instagram, especially, you just be able to see pictures upon pictures upon pictures of you, like, just slowly, going through your life. It's going to be, it's really cool.
It really is. And I haven't thought about it that much, but you bring it up and it is a great thing. Cause my gripe is, Gabe said this a lot on his podcast. At first, it's always awkward when you first meet somebody and like, oh, you like the video game? Oh, I like the video game. Like that whole interaction, you try and keep it a secret.
That's true.
It's the same thing with the podcast.
Why is that?
Wait, you do what? so you're on the radio then, right? No. All right, but you make money doing this, right? No, we actually spend money doing this.
Actually costs us
right.
money.
Yeah, well, it costs Donnie a lot of money. But it's almost like I don't like it if somebody I know is watching or listening, or I'm more comfortable with not knowing somebody or only interacting with through Twitter, knowing they listen to the show, than I am meeting that person face to face and they'd be like, oh my God, I listen to you guys every week. And it's like, just gets real awkward for me real quick. So if I find out like relatives or somebody's listening, it always feels kind of weird to me. So, but I think like, knock on wood, it's not gonna be anytime soon, but after I'm gone, I think that's a nice thing to have, and just be able to reference back and be like, okay, this is a huge part of, my dad's life and my granddad's life, whatever the case is. And I think it's a cool idea. And it's definitely, as Donnie said, it's the way the future is going to be. And it's kind of odd to think about. It's almost borderline creepy when you think about it, but
kind of, we still have, looping Gabe back in, we still have the Just Dance challenge that Gabe and his daughter issued to the Married to the Games community, and me and my daughter went and grabbed a copy of the Wii U.
Yeah,
we booted up. My wife made like this 8-second video where me and my daughter completely killed Gabe and his daughter. Like, we were just 100% in sync. You can see us like we're hopping left to right and we're back and forth. It's we've got like 9 seconds of it. It's grainy as can be. We still have it. Like, it's backed up to my Google Drive. My wife still watches that video. She loves it. She thinks it's so great. And it all came from like me wanting to engage and interact with my friends, but also like, think about that. Like, I could be 75, my daughter could pull up that grainy video of like the time her dad played that dance game that he never played, but he played with her when she was 6. And that's what got her into video games. And then she's, like, and it starts to unravel and it starts to come down. Like, I just think about the generations before us, they would have killed for that. You think about like somebody from like World War II who sat there, during the latter part of their life, and they're just trying so hard to remember the memories that they have. And here we are, we just got them just a Google away. I can relive that moment right away. It's amazing.
It is.
And let me encourage you guys too, don't feel weird about meeting people. It is a weird thing about meeting people that listen to your podcast and might have this whole relationship with you that you don't know exists. But man, like, just, they're the reason that we do this. We joke about on our podcast a lot, is like, we don't know if we would have made it to, I think we released 260 tomorrow. But we don't know if we would have made it this far if it wasn't for our community. And you guys being part of that community, it was awesome to meet Donnie. And, because we had gone back and forth online so much. And so it was such a sweet, heartwarming thing to be able to meet him at 200. And so yes, it can be awkward. I just did it this last weekend again with a guy and his wife, Blake, and his wife, Kelsey, when I was in Kansas. And it was awesome to meet them. And I'm always nervous because I'm like, I'm shorter than they're probably thinking I am. And I'm chubbier than they probably think I am, even though my nickname is the Chubby Ninja. But like at the same time, you know, I'm just as bald as they think I was. But I've got a lot of strikes going against me. But it's an awesome thing to meet the community that holds you up. You know what I'm saying? Donnie for a long time was a pillar of the MTTG community. And so even though, you know, you get around each other and you laugh and you shake hands and you hug it out and, you know, you do escape room games together. But like at the end of the day, for us, we're sitting back looking like, you guys are the reason we do this. We wouldn't do it without you guys. Are our bosses almost, you know what I mean? And so don't feel too awkward, but just like really try to look at it through the goggles of being grateful, because and that changes your whole mindset. And that's what helped me, because I used to get really nervous and really insecure. And then when I switched it around to being like, I'm really grateful for this cat, then it becomes a whole different thing.
It's excellent advice. Thank you. So the last half of of our last question is pointed directly at you. Right here. So from Nate, you know, okay, Gabe, you did Shenmue Saturdays. When the heck are we getting Final Fantasy Fridays?
Whenever Final Fantasy VII comes out, you'll
still
get
waiting.
Final Fantasy
So
Friday.
excited. So many years.
So in like 3 years from now, 3 years from now, when they bring the first episode of that game out, I'll do those. And I need to get on my Shenmue Tuesdays so I can do Shenmue 2. But whenever Final Fantasy VII comes out, I did 15 and I streamed it for like the first couple hours that I played it. But again, like, you know, you guys know how it is having a podcast. You don't want to get stuck back too far. You want to try to keep up with the new games that are coming out so you can talk about it. And so, you know, those games take such a time suck. So, you know, sorry about that. Final Fantasy VII, I'll definitely be all in with the community on that one whenever it comes out. They'll probably cancel it, but
I was about to say, you're treading a careful line there, Gabe. You were just talking about empty promises on the podcast sometimes. That was one of your regrets.
I know, but this is on y'all's podcast.
Oh, okay, fair enough. That makes perfect sense. All right, so that wraps up the mailbag for this week. Just a reminder, everyone, you can always send us your questions to podcast@playsomevideogames.com or send us a quick tweet at PSVG. So let's jump into the news of the week and give Gabe the opportunity to do something he can never do on his own podcast without getting the side eye, and that's talk Nintendo, baby.
It is so fitting. It is so fitting, Gabe. We couldn't have planned this. It's so fitting that
when I looked at it, I was
100 falls on a week with Gabe Patillo, the exact same week that we get a Nintendo Direct and we have to cover it here in the Nintendo Shack. It couldn't be better.
So, can I ask you a question real quick? Because I watched the Nintendo Direct because I wanted to be prepared for this week. Is it always like they show a game and show you the whole tutorial and how to play it every time?
Not always. Not always. But yeah.
Just Xenoblade. That's
Are they telling me? Yeah, like if you push this button and push this button, you can combine these two things. I was like, why are you showing me this? Get me excited for the game. This is ridiculous.
I'm with you, and we'll get to that for sure because I have some thoughts on that game that Donnie loves. But
I love it.
So, Donnie, why don't you go to the first news item we have before the Nintendo Direct that you want to touch on?
Yeah, so later this month, the Super NES is going to drop, and everybody's going to buy one. They'll be super excited, and there's all kinds of leaks and whatnot. But Nintendo came out with a PR release earlier this week saying that they're shipping more day one than they shipped before. We have no idea what that means. Could be 5 more, but I mean, I'm taking the sense that it's a lot more. Also, the NES Classic's coming back. So in 2018, they're going to redo that again. So it's like they're basically coming out and saying, all that stuff you've been hating on us about, we're fixing all that. So that's good news. In addition to that, today, we've had all kinds of leaks that retailers, you know, Walmart, Target, they're getting 30, 40, 45 per store. So it looks like stock numbers are up across the board, which, just to put in the other hashtag, Donnie was right. I told you guys at E3, they're going to ship more of these than they did the last one, and it looks like that is the case. So everybody that's losing their minds, it looks like you'll be okay.
Until you have to fist fight somebody in the middle of Kmart to get your SNES Classic.
You guys still have Kmarts?
Yeah, I don't know why I pulled out Kmart, but I did. I don't know. I went there. I don't know.
He rents his games for Blockbuster and goes to Hollywood Video for his movies.
What's a red box?
Whatever town you live in.
Circuit City.
Let me just put in my laser disc and go watch this. Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't know. All right, so that's good news. Donnie was right for once. We'll give it to him. You occasionally get something. So let's jump right into the Nintendo Direct. We'll kind of blow through some of this kind of quick because we've already been going for a while. I know, Gabe, stop us if you have any thoughts on this first section. It's going to be 3DS stuff, so I know you probably have to blow the dust off yours from the last time you played it. So
I asked Donnie, I said, Donnie, is it okay? Because I know who to go to. I'm a smart man. I went to Donnie. I said, hey, look, I ain't playing this 3DS. Is it okay if I sell it? And he said yes. So I did. So I won't be blowing the dust off anything because I don't own it. I'll own it no more.
Fair enough. So I think this part will probably be driven by Donnie and myself then, because Kyle probably.
There's really only like 2 news stories here, right?
That's true. Yeah, you do the 3DS. I'll just
all right. So 3DS. What I'll start with the hardware. They got 2 new 2DS XL hardwares coming. One's orange and white. I don't care. The other one's this Pokemon one. Pretty awesome. It looks like a Pokeball. It's actually got all these different stuff on the lids and whatnot. I even thought about it earlier. I still got a little GameStop credit. I was like, I may have to own 2 3DSs. I don't know why, but like it's kind of cool. I kind of like it. It doesn't come with a game or anything. That doesn't help. But I didn't buy one. I probably won't. But I'm not going to lie to you. I'm tempted to. I think it's neat for $150. It's pretty cool. They did Pokemon Sun, Ultra Moon. So they're basically re-releasing the game, and then like the incentive that they're giving you is not a discount or anything. It's like if you pre-order, you get 12 digital Pokeballs, which is ridiculous because when I pre-ordered the collector's edition, I think I got like 100. I have no idea what it is they think they're doing. I was wondering about that too. I was like, that's a thing? Like 12? Yes, 12 exactly. Pokeballs? Who came up on a dozen? Like people like dozens or something? Like I don't know. I feel like somebody in the marketing room was like, if we just say it's a Pokemon game and start doing marketing around it, people will buy it. Like, I really think that's where this comes down to. The one real news story here is Mario Party, the top 100. And Kevin and I have some differing opinions here. Because
are you kidding me?
I'm not going to kid you. So
I had some jealousy rise up on that one. I can't front.
And that's fine. I think that's fair. So here's the game. It's the top 100 Mario Party mini games from all 10 of the Mario Parties. It's a great deal, right? Pay $40. If you do the Best Buy or the Amazon thing, you get it for $30. You have 100 games. They did come out today and confirm that there is a board game menu to it. So a lot of people were concerned that there was no board game, that you just play the mini games. That's not true. So here, all right, I'm going to make my case. But let me say, I agree with you. It'd be amazing if it was on Switch. I mean, everybody loves Switch. It'd be amazing if it was on Switch, Kevin. I don't disagree with you. Here's what I will say, though. It supports download play. And there are 70 million 3DSs versus 5 million, 10 million Switches. So if they can sell that to a bigger pool of people, especially with that download play, like when they said download play, you got me. I'm in. My daughter has a 3DS. My son has a 3DS. I'm buying 1 copy of this game. We're going to play Mario Party in the car. Like I was sold. So I agree. Everything's better. Anything would be better on Switch. It'd be better if The Last of Us 2 was on Switch. Like,
don't be silly. Don't get crazy.
Gabe's talking about Destiny and how he wish he could play it more. It'd be great if Destiny was on, but like, you have to get to the point where
it was on Switch.
Right, like that can't be the reason why you're always angry. Like, they have to sell 3DSs. They're still continuing to move units. Like, I'm kind of into it. I bought it. $31. Sure, I'm good.
All right, my turn.
I was.
So I love me some Mario Party. Do not get me wrong. And the last couple on consoles have been pretty bad. I think the last one I thought was even still decent was the one on the Wii. I think was the last one I had the traditional format. So yes, I want it on the Switch. I get why it can be great on the 3DS, and it's a great value for download play. But you know what? I got 4 of these in my house. I got 4 people in my house that will be playing Mario Party. You know how many 3DSs I got? 2. Does not help me at all. My kids want to play Mario Party, then we're playing 2-player Mario Party. That's not fun. I'd rather play 4 people around the TV playing Mario Party. So I'm not mad it's on 3DS, but I am mad that there was no announcement for either this to come to Switch or a Switch version. Like, all right, we're doing a new Mario Party for Switch because...
Are you mad about it?
Yes.
Like, are you just mad about it?
Because what's really funny about you being mad is that you have a 3DS. Like, what the freak? They're bringing it out for the thing you have. How are you mad about that? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Because I got good games to play and I don't want to play that. But so all right, we're getting what,
Wow.
2-3 Kirby games this year on 3DS and on Switch.
Yep.
We're getting Fire Emblem both on 3DS and on Switch. We got Minecraft on 3DS and on Switch. Why can't I get Mario Party? That's my gripe. I don't want Kirby. I want Mario Party.
Ben, you're hating on the Kirby. I like that Kirby.
I'm
want Mario
going to play the
Party
Kirby,
too.
but yeah, I want Mario Party.
I'm right there with you. When I saw that, I was like, ooh, please say Switch. Please say, ooh, those don't look like Switch graphics, though. Those do not look like Switch graphics. Oh, crap. It's on the 3DS. I forgot we still in this section of the direct. And so I was like, in the download play, Donnie, you are so right. I was like, you can download that to 3 other 3DS. You just have to have one for people to play. That is incredible.
There's so much fun, like Star Fox and the Zelda game, the Triforce Heroes. Like me and my kids, we love them. We love if it says download play, we're almost in. Like we bought that tank game. You remember like Toon Tank?
Yeah, that's right.
We bought that because it downloaded. It was $6 and we got to play. We shoot each other with tanks for a day or two. Like
no, it makes great sense for you. Just for me and my family, it don't make no sense because I'm not playing 2 more 3DSs to play it.
I think I'd probably prefer to play it on separate screens versus like 4 screens or 4-player split screen, like on the TV. And definitely like on Switch. Like that's the other thing. Like if you were to do that game on Switch when it's not in TV mode, now you're talking 4-player split screen, you know, on
uber small.
Oh yeah. That's like trying to play Splatoon or Mario Kart in the tabletop mode with more than one person. It's a nightmare.
But it's kind of one of those things where like TVs are so big now. If they're cutting to 4, that's like that little 4 section is as big as my TV used to be.
Yeah, it's bigger than the one you grew up with. Yeah.
My kid's screen is the size of my kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do y'all remember playing GoldenEye on N64?
Yes.
I mean, that was split screen. Come on now.
Yes.
That was on a 19-inch CRT.
Yes, it was.
You're like yelling at your buddy, like, don't look at my screen. Don't look at my screen.
He's like, I can't help it. I have peripheral vision.
There was a bunch of games announced. The only really other one I think of note is Minecraft 3DS edition. So
how's that of note?
It's because everyone was wondering, wait, that's not already on 3DS already?
That's what I thought. I was like, that's on mobile. How is it not on 3DS yet?
There are like 4 or 5 really good Minecraft clones of that game's play already on 3DS. Been there for years. This is way late. Like the boat for this was 2 or 3 years ago. Like why are they doing it now? I don't understand. It's also full price, $30. I don't understand either. That said, I could be tempted in if there was a physical copy. If I could get it for 20, I could probably get it for my son for like Christmas or something.
All right, fair enough.
That makes
Anything
sense.
Anything else for 3DS you want to cover?
Not really.
All right, cool. Let's jump right in to the fighting words right now. So Switch, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'm starting with that one.
Okay.
This massive sequel takes place in the world of All Rest on the back of giant titans. The journey through the clouds begins when Xenoblade Chronicles lands on Nintendo Switch December 1st. Standard version is coming out, and of course, lately Nintendo's big thing is the special edition. This one includes a soundtrack, metal game case, and a 220-page hardbound art book for a hundo. So a little bit crazy, and there is a Switch Pro controller themed around Xenoblade Chronicles 2 as well. And that, of course, will run you another $75 if you want the controller. So as much fun as you mocked of Destiny cost you an arm and a leg, if you want that collector's edition, that controller, you're spending way more than Destiny money. So yeah, like Gabe had said, I was confused by this trailer. So Donnie had me kind of sold on Xenoblade Chronicles for a while, saying, listen, the first one was great on Wii U. It was a great game. You know, it's worth your time. And I was interested up until that direct yesterday. That straight up turned me off. The combat system, now I'm a old school JRPG guy, so I know things can get wacky, but the fighting mechanics seem so convoluted and like, hey, you have this guy who does the fighting, but he doesn't really have any power. This other person gives him the power so he can fight. Why doesn't the other person just fight? Why do I need to have this person? It just didn't make any sense to me. So for me, this actually made my list shorter for Switch games to buy this holiday season. Kyle, I'm actually interested in your thoughts first on this one because I know you like some JRPG too.
So I was really contemplating what I was going to play on Switch this fall. And Xenoblade Chronicles 2, it was on there. I was like, we'll see what happens. And then I watched the direct, and I saw all the feedback of people being like, or the feedback of a lot of people being like, yeesh, I don't know. Man, that put me probably 100% into that game. I might I'm in. Like the thing that I was worried about earlier about that game was that Ni no Kuni 2 is probably going to be coming out in November. Now that got pushed to January. I got some time over the holidays.
My man.
I think I am. I don't want to say 100% because I don't want to make promises I'm not going to follow through on, but I am. That is the game that has crept up my list as far as games I'm looking at this fall. Now, I get why some people weren't into it. That game though, like, is so complex and deep that I think they were trying to say, like, hey, we want you to know a little bit about what you're getting yourself into if you get into this game. That they didn't want to just do a flashy, cool trailer and then have people buy it and be like, what in the world is this? They wanted to give a little bit of a, as Gabe had said, like, hey, here's the demo level of everything that you're going to do in the first hour of this game.
That was so weird.
It was weird, but honestly, it made the mechanics that Kevin is absolutely right. They're very deep. They seem kind of, in some ways, convoluted, but that is the kind of stuff that I love in RPGs. I really get into something that's meaty that I can really dig into, that you have to spend your time on. The only thing that might prevent me from playing that, honestly, the Destiny 2 expansion is supposed to come out right around that time, and I already have that purchased, and I know how much time I'm putting into Destiny 2 right now. So I feel like this is a game that when I get into it, I'm just going to want to play it because I think it's a game if you take a week off and come back, you're going to be totally lost about what you were doing. But I am now far more interested in this game than I was prior to the Direct.
Can I ask y'all something? Did this game at all remind you guys of Skies of Arcadia?
A little bit, yes.
When you were watching the trailer?
Yeah.
I love Skies of Arcadia. The only thing that really kind of caught me off guard about this game was like, what? You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, there was so much information flying at you. It does look good. I'm a JRPG guy too. I will play them. I think they're awesome. I think the campiness makes them great. It doesn't make it cheesy to me. Like it's cheesy on purpose. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's like somebody who tried to write a really serious song that's awful, and you're like, song's awful. Sorry. I think it's all done in it. You know, it's a JRPG. It's what you expect. I just like, I'm a pop head though. Like, and I kind of fall prey to being a pop head in the sense of like, give me a great verse and a great chorus and I'll love a song. This was like Dream Theater or something like that. Or if I was listening to Rush or somebody, I'm like, okay, all right, hold on. Okay, all right, I think I'm with you. Okay, oh, and they switched. Okay, all right. And this song is 26 minutes long. Like,
and it's all a drum solo.
Yeah, exactly. I want to hear everything Neil Peart is doing in that drum solo, though. I want to know everything that's going on.
And so as much as I appreciate it, and I'm kind of looking for something like this on my Switch, like I want a deep JRPG and like and
ding,
Zelda
ding, ding, ding,
ding. And Zelda like was almost it, but it wasn't quite like I've downloaded like, I want to say, how many JRPG demos are there on the Switch? There's the Disida or whatever it was, and there was another one that dropped after this. Like I'm downloading them because I'm trying them because I want to jump into these games. Something about I don't know when that big floaty thing turned around and started talking over his shoulder. I was like, ah, doggone it.
And he calls me Grandpa. It's like, why does he call this dragon
Grandpa? Like, how does that work?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have to watch some more on it, but like it looks good. And it's what I'm looking for my Switch. I want my Switch to be a one JRPG at a time console for me, just so I can be in my bunk and getting lost in a story, you know, going deep, talking to strange animals, and hiding the screen for when people are looking over my shoulder. You know what I'm saying? I want like, what is that you're playing? Like, don't worry about it. Why is he dressed like that? Be like, stop it! I said, don't worry about it. So it looks up my alley though. So I'm excited to get on with Donnie when it comes out and have him talk me into buying it.
No, it's good you want a good JRPG to come to the Switch because we'll talk about Project Octopath later because that's the good JRPG that's coming to the Switch.
Good.
But
so good.
Let's give Donnie a chance to defend his Xenoblade first. So go ahead, Donnie.
I'm not going to defend it. The demo that the presentation gave it too much time. It was honestly like a Xenoblade Chronicles 2 mini direct. And I kind of feel like that's what it was. And they should have saved that for closer to launch.
That's true.
This would have been great in mid-November, 2 or 3 weeks before the game came out and got everybody all excited and all that. They could have done that. And I think the reason that everybody's upset was because the direct itself, 45 minutes, was so good. This is the lull, right? Like, so that's why people are down. They're like, well, that Xenoblade Chronicles thing was too long. But like, if you were to if you were to piece it out and just put it like in the middle of the other week with no news, people are like, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is huge and it's awesome. It's got a controller. Like so you can spin the narrative completely differently. I mean, I've always been all in on this game. I played Xenoblade Chronicles, or Chronicles X. This has a lot of the battle system from the X system. It's got that rhythm-based action timing, which when I played Xenoblade Chronicles X, I was so into it. I sucked so much time into that because it was so much fun to play. I still don't think it looks amazing. Kevin and I, we've went back and forth about this. The gameplay, like when it's in game engine, looks like an up-res version of a 3DS game. It doesn't look like super pretty. That said, I got really excited last night because they showed off a lot of cutscenes, and the cutscenes look great. So
They're great.
You went on Tony the Tiger.
Exactly. They look so good. Like it gave me another reason to be more excited about it. But Gabe, you hit the nail on the head. There is no big open world expansive RPG game on Switch, and this is it. And here it comes.
Bring it to me. Bring it to me, baby.
Fair enough. You know what though? You have an excellent point though. If this was the lull of the direct and all the news Nintendo's done in a long time,
great direct.
That's a great thing. So I'm with you. If they'd done it on its own, I'd probably been a heck of a lot more excited for it. So we'll see. Maybe I'll still turn around. But the RPG that did, however, get me excited was, although it's probably the worst named RPG ever, so I'm glad it's working title and hopefully it'll change, is Project Octopath Traveler. So the producers of Bravely Default, that's from Square Enix, present a new RPG with a mixture of CG, pixel art, and visual wizardry, as they dubbed it. Launches in 2018. You can try a free demo. It's out now. That game looks so good. I have it downloaded and did not get a chance to play it today. But the mix of the CG backgrounds with the pixel art, but then the lighting effects, it looks so good. So you've already played it, Donnie, so why don't you give us your early impressions?
It's a Fire Emblem game. I know everybody wants to take it and go with the Bravely Default, and I played Bravely Default. I did not play Bravely Second, but I played Bravely Default. I mean, I think comparing the two is like saying all RPGs are the same. It's not Bravely Default. It's kind of the same in the sense that with Bravely Default, you could do your default move, which was like your standard attack, or you could do your Brave move. And when you did your Brave move, you could do more damage, but then you had to like sacrifice a turn. This battle system's completely different from that. Now, instead of having like the Brave turn, now you can spend bonus points that you earn by breaking the enemy's defense. So you break their defense to earn bonus points, and then you can use those on your next attack to attack more than once. So it's kind of like this weird mix where you have to break the opponent's shield before you can really do damage. If you don't, like, you're just not going to do much, and you're going to die. It's not easy. Like they will just straight up kill you. But there's also a time mechanic, which brings in some of that Child of Light thing where you get to see a time and you can plan out your attacks on the timeline. So you can if I break these opponents, if I break their defenses before they attack me, then they'll skip a turn. So you can kind of set up chain reactions. So you can sit there and go, all right, I'm going to break their defense. Then I'm going to use my bonus points. Then I'm going to use my special ability. Then I'm going to defend. And then you can kind of set it up and let it happen. So and the reason I say it's a Fire Emblem game, every time you level up, it totally does the Fire Emblem thing where it's like you've leveled up and it goes ding 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 ding, and then it goes dun na 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 na, and it is just Fire Emblem. It's the exact same thing. Kevin, you know what I'm talking about. I feel like I'm looking at like Kyle. I don't know if Kyle's ever played it. It is the same thing that you see before. And then
you get points for all these stats. You have no idea what they actually do.
Everything.
You're like, why does it matter if my archer is smarter now? That doesn't make any sense.
And there's like a hook there. So it's totally like a Fire Emblem game with some Child of Light there, with some Bravely, carryover, at least terminology. I think terminology is the best way to put it. Sure. It's not Bravely mechanic, but they're kind of calling new things the same thing as the old thing. So I think you'll hear people say that, but it's definitely different. And the art style is gorgeous. Even my wife loved it. I'm really glad that they did a demo because I think a lot of people, and it's an exclusive. It's exclusive to Switch. I mean, it's a big get for them because after playing my first hour, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be a really good game. Like, I can't wait to play it. It's gonna be great."
Here's my question: is it okay if I'm done? I don't like the sprite thing.
Kevin's that way, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like it in this usage, but you're right. They're overusing the 8-bit retro stuff for sure.
Yeah, like I just kind of feel like, can we continue to move forward and find ways that with the power that the Switch has available to it, let's push the envelope and try to make things cool out of what it can do instead of like kind of going back. It's kind of like if I listen to new music and it always had a vinyl sound under it, like constantly that scratchy vinyl sound. Like I know that there's a thing about going back and like recording straight to tape sounds way different than it does recording digitally. But like, I don't know, man. I think the 8-bit thing is getting wore out for me a little bit. And so where I want to play something like this, at the same time, it would push me a little bit more towards the Chronicles game, because of the Xenoblade Chronicles, because I'm like, it looks better. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a little bit of that stare at the back of the box and see which one I want to get. Like, I still got a little bit of that in me because I'm old school. And so I'm like, oh, the back of the box looks good. I think I'll play this one over this one that don't look that good. And so I don't know, man. Y'all got to let me know if which game is better, because the sprite thing just kind of gets at me a little bit. Fair
enough. Kyle, what's your thoughts, man?
So this direct was bizarre, and I'm so glad Gabe's on this podcast, because Project Octopath Traveler happened, and I was like, man, I think that art direction is stupid. And then I looked at Twitter, and everyone was like, that game looks amazing. And I was like, were we watching the same thing? Because
how does 8-bit look amazing? How?
And I usually I'm okay with it, but I looked at it, and for lack of a better term, I looked at it, I was like, I feel weird about like this. So I'm gonna download the demo and try it. But when I saw it, I was like, oh man, like I'm not really digging this art direction. And then everyone on Twitter was talking about how amazing it was, and I'm like, I must not be Nintendo's target audience. Like I must be missing something. And maybe the game of play is great. I'm going to definitely download the demo and give it a shot, because, like I said, I enjoy JRPGs. I'm wondering if this is exclusive, like Kentucky Route Zero is exclusive. See, because they said Kentucky Route Zero is an exclusive, and it's not. It was a joke. Okay. Anyway, so but yeah. So I think I was not a fan of the art direction or style. I will download the demo though and play it and see what it is like, because like I said, if the mechanics are good, I like the active time battle that's in it. That seems interesting. I like that different characters play differently. That seems interesting. So if the mechanics are great, I can get past the art style. It just wasn't jiving for me.
All right, let's do a couple quick hits then. Blow through some news there. ARMS, nobody cares about ARMS, but there is a free software update that goes live. The new fighter, Lollipop, the clown with the nunchucks, is available now. Splatoon 2 continues to deliver more content every week. So starting Friday the 15th, the Kelp Dome stage is coming back. It's been revamped and retooled a little bit for Splatoon 2, as well as a new Splatbrella weapon type thing that has a huge, massive shield that pops out. So that's good to see them still supporting Splatoon. They said they will continue to keep it fresh for a long time coming. Let's see what else can we blow through real quick.
Clips.
Yeah, Snipper Clips. Great game, man. I love Snipper Clips, but I never finished it. So now they're like, hey, there's a whole bunch of DLC with 30 new stages, new challenges, and all this other stuff. And I'm like, but I didn't finish the first one yet, man. But yeah. So Snipper Clips Plus is coming out $30 for the whole shebang. If you already own the first, you can get the extra DLC stuff for $10. Rocket League was shown a little bit more. The new Nintendo cars were featured a little bit better. The caps that go on top of the cars, which is what we saw first, everyone was like, that's really dumb. But then they showed the cool cars, the Mario and Luigi carts and the Samus cart in action. So it's good to see Rocket League continue with its success and kind of pumping through there.
Did the Samus car look a little lazy to y'all?
I love it.
I feel like it could have had a little more to it.
Yeah, it
felt like just gold to me.
Yes, the initial sketches we saw at first made it look way more detailed, but when I actually saw it moving, you're right, I'm with you. It was like, oh yeah, it's a yellow car and it's got some jets. Like, yeah, it didn't pop as much. Yeah,
I was like, where's the red and where's the, I just thought there would be more to it than just one color.
Yeah. Then Bethesda dropped a whole bunch of news on us, so they showed a little bit more of Skyrim, which we've joked about Skyrim. We've talked about it a million times. I will say, so it launches November 17th. It does look a little bit better than what we had seen and heard prior. So it still doesn't look like it's the remastered edition that came out, but it does look better than the PS3 version, I think, at least from what we're seeing. So that's good. And then they dropped the bomb of Doom and Wolfenstein 2 are also coming to the Switch. Doom will be out this year. Wolfenstein will be out next year, so it'll be delayed. But was not expecting that. Now, I just got one thing to say to Bethesda at this point. Where's my Fallout? Everything else is coming. Give me my Fallout. That's what I want. Donnie, why don't you cover the arcade archives?
You give me that one.
Yep.
So Nintendo's bringing back their arcade versions of some old games. And now a lot of people either like this because they think it's great for archival history, or people don't like it because it's not virtual console, which is what everybody wants. Like, that's the thing everybody wants. Feels safe to assume that we're probably not going to get virtual console until this paid service launches. So March 2018 or something like that. But, you know, in the absence of something or nothing, I guess this is something. You get Mario Bros. And they should Punch Out and Balloon Fight and stuff. I'm not into it. It feels like Neo Geo stuff. Like, I think they're going to be priced, I guess, accordingly. I think Europe leaked like $6.99. So it's $7-10
That seems
pop,
too much. That
like
seems too much, but yeah.
When they first showed it, I thought it was a collection.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's not. No, they're going to release them individually out on the eShop. So.
Boo to that.
Yep. The only one I'd even be remotely interested in would be Punch Out, the arcade edition of that. But that's it.
Me too. Yes, that's the one because I never could beat that thing in the arcade.
Nope.
And so I want to beat that.
No quarters needed. Just got to pay $8 to play in the first place.
That'll be all right. I'd spend more in the arcade trying to beat it.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I'm with you, Donnie. I don't want it, but it's coming apparently anyway. But if it was a collection, it would have made way more sense. Kirby Star Allies was shown a little bit more in detail there. They're doing like a big anniversary like poll thing where you can vote on what your favorite Kirby ability is. You can do it on Twitter now. While I'm not excited for this game, I will probably pick it up simply because this is one I can play with the whole family. So my wife will play us, my kids will play it with us, so we can do like 4 players and have some fun with that. So kind of excited for that, but overall I was like, okay, it looks all right, good enough. The one thing I don't get, Donnie, maybe you're a bigger fan of Kirby than I am. Why do they use the same bosses in every single game?
I think it's to bring back like some nostalgia. I think kind of like Mario. Like Mario does that a lot. You know, you get the Goomba, you get the Koopa,
and Eggman, Sonic, yeah.
But like that tree boss has been in every single Kirby.
But the tree doesn't move. It's classic. But it's classic Kirby. Now I'm going to disagree with you. Like once Kirby Robobot hit, like I was so into that game, loved that game, so I'm into this one. But as I said at E3, like this really feels like Nintendo's Super Mario Bros. 2D side scroller co-op game.
Sure,
like it's a co-op platformer you can play with up to 1 to 4 people. It's like that chaotic gameplay. Instead of throwing Mario on it and everybody getting upset about Mario being the platformer that they don't want, put Kirby in it and let them like throw Link's sword and shoot Samus's arm cannon, and all of a sudden it's different. Like I'm in on it. I think it's great.
Yeah, fair enough. The other big news that didn't really strike me as being big news, but then doing a little bit more research is bigger than we thought. Arena of Valor was announced. Now this is a MOBA game that is absolutely massive in China. Like through the roof. Was something like 5 million people play this game. It's ridiculous. So apparently this is a huge get for Nintendo. It seems fine to me. It's not really my thing, but the fact that many people playing it speaks volumes, I think. So apparently it's a big get for them. Donnie, you want
interesting trying to play a MOBA on a controller.
Right.
I was like, how's that going to work? Because I've dabbled in LOL and I played a lot of Heroes of the Storm and stuff like that. And I'm like, how would I do this with a controller? Like the clicking movement already was a little something to get used to. But like once you get used to it, it feels very right. And so with the controller, I'm like, am I just going to be controlling the actual person just running around in a circle? And how am I going to check other parts of the map? That's so much of that, is part of the, process of helping the team out. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. We'll find out. The free beta test version will be available this winter at some point. So we'll get a grip and see how it plays. But you're right. It's like when you play, man, I'm totally blanking on that. What's the Blizzard Diablo? When you play Diablo on a console versus playing Diablo on a computer, it just felt more natural on the computer than it was playing on my PS4.
Right.
So
I thought Diablo played way better on console. I thought Diablo was awesome on console, but the map part is the thing that is a little weird as how the map part will work. But I think Diablo is the easy way to look at how this game might control.
Okay. Well, we'll find out. But yeah, apparently it's a bigger deal than people were playing up at first. Donnie, you want to cover the sports block, the 3 sports titles?
Sure. So we're getting WWE 2K or NBA 2K and FIFA. We've known about it for a while. They showed NBA 2K. Now this game comes out tomorrow officially on Switch, and I'm very interested in seeing some streams. Both Seth and I are way into this game. I'm all about playing me some NBA on the go, like portable, but boy, the footage of the game during the direct was woof. I mean, it did not look good. It looked like a last-gen version of the game, which, again, I'm still fine with playing. Like, I played the Vita version of a lot of sports games that weren't as good. Like, I'm still, like, portable. Like, I do. So, the thing that I've always said, I own NBA 2K 15 and 16 on PlayStation 4. I don't need another copy of that game. Like, I got that game. Being able to play it on the go is something I don't have. So the utility of that is something I'm very, very much intrigued by. But I'm really interested in seeing some more streams and some gameplay because they kind of just skipped over it.
Looked bad.
It did. It did. I give you that.
It looked real bad.
Now, if WWE looks that bad, we might have a different story because while I'd love WWE to be portable, like very much I'm into the pageantry and all that, and I don't have 2 and 3 versions of that game on other consoles. So
makes sense. Makes sense. I might be in that. I might be in the. Oh yeah, FIFA. What'd you think of FIFA?
I don't care about soccer.
It looked good though.
It does look good.
It looked way better. What they showed looked way better than NBA. Like NBA 2K looked like
a PS2
literally game. PS2 going into PS3.
Yeah.
Like it looked so bad. I was like, why even show this? It's like when they showed what was it? Monster Hunter World at whatever that last thing was.
Yep.
And it looked so bad where it's like the dragon's like doing the fire, but the fire's not linked up with his mouth, and you're like, oh my gosh, like how come you do this? It's like your wedding day and your wife showing up in her pajamas.
Now
I didn't know you were at my wedding, Gabe. What the heck?
It's like you gonna walk down the aisle like this and want me to cry? That's not gonna happen.
All right, so the big one then, Super Mario Odyssey. They spent a good chunk of time showing some new levels, some new worlds there, more story details, kind of the background around that. Additionally, special hardware bundle will be out. Include a download code for the game, so digital copy of the game. Mario-themed red Joy-Con controllers and a special carrying a case will be available on October 27th for retail price of $379.99 if you can find yourself one at that point.
I got some bad news for y'all. That game's gonna be tough. That game's gonna be real tough. That's gonna be like the hardest Mario game to have ever come out. I got to play it at PAX, and it felt great, and you throw in the hat and everything, but it doesn't hold your hand, and I think it's gonna be a tough game to play.
I've thought that
it's gonna be good,
time,
but it's gonna be tough.
Take that Zelda approach.
Yeah, almost. But see, Zelda's different because not having the platforming aspects makes Zelda a little more forgiving when you screw something up. But if you mess up in Mario, it's like that's it. And you're right, Gabe. Just watching the trailers. I mean, I haven't played it, but I'm looking. I'm like, man, this is going to be tough to coordinate. Like, I don't know if I can go back and do this now. You know, maybe a 15-year-old Kevin could do it back in the day. But yeah, you're right. Look at the mechanics for throwing the hat. Like, I'm so excited for it. Do not get me wrong. I'm going to play it. I'm going to buy it. But yeah, I don't know how soon I'm going to be beating that thing.
Dude, that thing is going to be tough. I mean, just in the little bit that I got to play, you're like, you know, they're like, oh, sorry, you have to go over and do this. And then you can go up there and you're like, oh, shoot, well, how would I would have known that? And maybe you would have known it from playing the game. And you know, if I throw my hat on this guy, he has this kind of powers. If I put his sunglasses down, then I can see the invisible walkway and all this stuff. And then I bring it back up and I can. That's how it was, though. Like, I was like, oh, snap, this is going to be hard. And I just got finished playing Cuphead, so I was feeling defeated anyway. And so it's just, it was just a bad day. It was a day I just got kicked in the stomach over and over again.
So, Kyle, what are your thoughts after seeing a little bit more Mario Odyssey, being the newbie to Nintendo lately?
Well, lately,
coming back home.
I'm one of those people who I've always said I preferred the 2D Zeldas and Marios to the 3D Zeldas and Marios, and I mean, that may hold true. This time, I'm so going to get kicked out of the shack. I might be more excited about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 than I am about Super Mario Odyssey. I think the game looks great. But, you know, I've already played Knack, so I got my platforming down for the fall. Like, I'm totally kidding. But I think the game looks fantastic. I actually already have, like, the money, like, I moved over from my 3DS, so I have money sitting on my Nintendo account. So I just assumed that was going to go to Mario Odyssey. Now, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 looks really good. There is Shadow of War and Wolf 2 and Assassin's Creed with hippos. I mean, come on. I didn't see any hippos in this trailer. So all of those coming in, you know, within those couple weeks right there. I will definitely play this game. I don't know if this is my day one purchase on that October 27th date, though. I'm still trying to decide that because, like I said, there's just so much right around that for the style of gaming I do. Plus, you know, if this Bayonetta and Vanquish double pack happens that everyone's talking about, I mean, that's my game of the fall right there. Those two games together for me, that does everything that I want. So we'll see. It looks great. I'm sure Mario fans are going to love it. I will play this game eventually, and I'm really excited that people are excited for it. I'm just not quite as jazzed as other folks are.
Kyle, Shadow of War, Doc.
Oh, man. I love Shadow of Mordor, and so I was like, I feel like I got to play this game. So I feel like that's just going to be my.
I got to play that one too, and it was awesome.
Did they show you how to buy loot chests?
Oh, wait, what was that word? Chestes?
Blow, chestises.
Chestises.
You get to buy loot chestises. Listen, I can't say enough good about Shadow of War. That game felt good, looked good.
At the demo station, did the guy have like his phone with the card reader, and they're like, "Yeah, you just play until this point. If you want to keep playing, you just kind of."
Doggone it! Doggone you, Donnie.
I'm
right
sorry.
on my parade.
It's what I do.
Didn't just talk about having to buy all these Nintendo games for $8 each.
It's true. That's very true. Mario looks cool. I kind of tuned out during the Mario thing. Like, I've seen so much of it. It's one of those things where I've seen it, I get it. It's Mario. It's big. It's vast. It's new. Like, I'm good. I don't need it. I'm buying it. I'm gonna play it. I don't need any more Mario. Like, I could have lived without all of it, to be honest with you. I'm like, I got it. Mario's gonna be fun. I can't wait to try it out and can't wait to play it now.
Take my money.
I completely bypassed my Fire Emblem Warriors stuff, man. Like, they announced Lyn and like all kinds of other characters dropped, like Celica and Alm are going to come and whatnot. But I guess I'm the only person that's really in on the Warriors game.
No, I'm in on it too, but it's the same thing. It's like, all right, we already know what it is. Like, even if you don't know the Fire Emblem characters, if you liked the Hyrule Warriors game, you're just gonna like this anyway. It's a given. But yeah, it's the only reason I kind of glanced over that, because it's, for me, it's great. It's gonna be good. I already know it.
Have we talked? They're dropping like the same week. That's so odd. They're dropping both of these games like within 5 days of each other. I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to play either one or both. I'm just going to be basically doing those, and I probably won't beat both before Xenoblade comes. Yeah, so I mean, but I'm really excited for it. So
Nintendo this year has just been like, oh, we heard what you guys said during the Wii U days. Like, oh, there's no games to play. Here is every game we have within 3 months. Here you go. Have fun.
There you go.
I would have liked something a little more in the future. Like, I would have liked to can I just get a splash screen of like a Smash Brothers?
Yeah.
Like, just a splash screen of it.
That's what
you ain't
everybody
gotta
wants.
have it. You know what I'm saying? I don't even need to know who's in it. Just let me know you guys know that we want it.
And they know, you know that they know, like they know.
They don't want you to know that they know that you know.
They're trying to think.
But they didn't know that we knew that we on the NES Classic. They must not have known that we knew that they knew that we wanted it so bad.
They're trying to figure out how to paint the Pro controller for a Smash. Like, that's what they're trying to do.
I think that wraps up. Do we need to talk about Amiibo, Donnie, or are we good? I think
Caroline's gonna kill us, but no.
Okay,
no, we don't need to talk about the Amiibo. Like, yeah, we're good.
There's more Amiibo, guys. They do stuff.
So what we can talk about a little bit is the lack of something, and that was the Zelda Breath of the Wild DLC.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't talk more about it other than like, hey, the Amiibo just unlocked some helmets.
So the question is, the Amiibo drop November 10th? 10th?
Yes. Yep, November 10th.
So you got to think that the DLC drops the same time. Although, here's the thing. Do you think that there's either A or B here, the way that I see it? A, they're saving that for its own direct, which makes sense. That game totally merits that type of attention and all that. That's where I would lean. Or B, it's not there because it's not coming and it's being delayed. There's a lot of stuff to play, yo. Like, they're dropping Mario August or October 27th. What are they gonna do? Come 2 weeks later and drop Zelda deal? Like, you could push it. Like, I think the window's there. You could push it to January. You could.
Yeah, I think it could totally wait. It could wait till January for sure. So yeah, it might be a hey, buy the Amiibo.
Get out of your own way kind of thing. Like, don't get in your own way. Like, take money as it comes. You know what I'm saying?
I also think it'd be crazy weird to drop those Amiibo without it, though. Could you imagine be like, yeah, go buy the Amiibo, That thing you're waiting on is coming.
They want to give people time to have to buy them from the scalpers for like triple the price because you can't find them in stores, or for you to buy the cards, Donnie, on Etsy or whatever.
I've already pre-ordered those.
Okay, that's right. Get your Amiibo cards going. So yeah, I mean, that wraps up pretty much all the big stuff that happened in Nintendo Direct. So overall, I think it was a good showing. Some surprises in there, but for the most part, it was all stuff we had seen already or heard already, just kind of confirming it or showing a little bit more. But yeah, so that wraps up that. So it's about time for us to wrap up the show. But before we do, Kyle, where can people find you or anything else you'd like to plug, sir?
So you can follow me on Twitter or become my friend on the PlayStation Network at Psychocross, CYCOCROSS. I'm on Switch. I don't remember my Switch friend code because though you can change your name to whatever you want, and you can't do that on PSN, the friend codes are still ridiculous. Otherwise, obviously, you can find me doing some stuff on PSVG. I have some things in the works that I'm not going to talk about other than saying they're in the works, and I will talk about them more when they are complete to fulfill one of those goals that I have.
Hashtag empty promises. Not just play. Donnie.
You can find me on the Twitter at Playing Nintendo. You can find me in our Discord chat most days when there's not hurricanes wreaking havoc on the southeast United States. And we've got all kinds of channels there. You can come talk to me about how you didn't like Xenoblade 2 and also how you don't like Final Fantasy Chibi and all the things that Kalo and everybody said here. Just I'm surprised anybody even podcasts with me anymore.
I totally have your back on Xenoblade Chronicles, man. Come on.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, me too.
Just not anything else.
I feel sorry for yourself.
But no, in all seriousness, yeah, come game with me. You can find me on Switch. You can find my Switch code and Kyle's Switch code if you put it on the website. It's not that hard, or his Twitter account. But I'm very excited. Next week we get SteamWorld Dig 2 on the Switch. I'm so excited for that. And then the week after we get Golf Story, which I'm super excited about. Gabe, have you seen anything about Golf Story?
No, tell me all about it.
Ooh, this is good.
I should say the line that Seth wrote in the Discord earlier. Seth wrote, "Golf Story is an RPG where you play golf," and then he wrote, "Donnie, that's basically what everybody's golf is." And he's right. There's nothing different there. The difference is that Golf Story is like it's like a Final Fantasy game centered around golf. Like you use golf to either unlock puzzles or do battle, but it's all like, it's kind of this retro inspired thing. It's an indie game that's coming. Cross Animal Crossing, cross Fire Emblem, cross Final Fantasy type of thing, top down 2D sprite work, but it's all centered around golf. There's golf courses and different themes and different puzzles, and there's disc golf, and it's all kind of in that realm. So I've been kind of trumpeting the horn for that for a while. I've even won Kevin's appreciation. After I said it first, he was like, "That's ridiculous," and then he saw it, and he's coming aboard. So I'm very, very excited about this game coming to Switch called Golf Story.
Is it okay that I want a tennis game?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I want a tennis game.
I like the golf games. I played the Hot Shots golf like as many times as I could get them. Every time they brought them out, I play them, and I was kind of like, do I want everybody's golf?
No, you don't. It's not as good as the other ones.
It's not.
No, it's not. And I'm the world's biggest Hot Shots ever. I'm sorry, Kyle. I feel like I'm the most qualified person to say this.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think the quality of the golf is as good as the other games. I think how you unlock everything and everything else, I don't think is as good as some of the other games.
Okay, that's fair. I don't think the courses that I've encountered so far have the same design appeal. I don't think the character progression is as rewarding as it used to be, and I don't think I think the shot mechanic has been tightened a bit, and it makes it for a less casual experience. It's definitely a harder experience. The leveling up is just absurd.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
We talked about it for 30 minutes last week, Gabe, but in short, you have to level up every single club and individually. You don't just unlock this set of clubs and now you're better. Like literally your 9-iron won't be as good as your 8-iron if you don't hit it 1,000 times. Like that part of it is just awful.
No, I don't.
Yeah. the grind is real. I really feel like I'm only playing it because I love golf games that much. If there was another alternative worthy contender, I might do something else.
Fair enough. All right, so you guys can find me, as you know, at PSVG Kevin. Make sure to visit the website, PlayStationVideoGames.com. Our Twitter overall is at PSVG. Hit up Twitch TV/PSVG. We finally got somebody using Twitch. Tyler's doing some crazy things right now with the WWE PSVG League. created most of the
Rigged.
staff and having us throw around matches. I just want to say Donnie was the first champion. Donnie won the championship first and then lost it 10 minutes later to me. So I'm just saying.
It was rigged. What champion loses their belt in a battle royal? Who's like,
Donnie.
you're going to put the belt up against 9 other people? What happened?
Donnie did. Just saying. So yeah, check out all that stuff. It's some exciting stuff going on. But then, Gabe, where can people find you? Not that I don't think anybody listening to this podcast doesn't know who you are or where to find you, but just in case, sir, where can they find you?
For our kids, for the kids listening in the future.
Oh, jeez. I host a podcast called Married to the Games, and you can find us on Twitter, MTTGcast, where, you know, just put in Married to the Games in Google. If it don't come up, we're not doing our job. So that's where you can find us. And I want to say too, before we end this thing, man, thank you guys again. I'm proud of y'all. I really am. I'm proud of you guys. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you, Donnie, for wanting it to be excellent. And you other guys too. I know that you guys have come alongside and y'all have linked arms. And y'all want it to be excellent too. I thank you guys for trying hard, for wanting to have a podcast that sounds good and provide content for y'all's family and that's listening and watching. So proud of y'all, man. Y'all keep going.
Thank you. That means a lot, sir. We want to thank our fans, too, for sticking by us for this long and not giving up at this point. Our community continues to grow and grow. We appreciate you guys spending just a little bit of that time with us each and every week to listen to us bicker and argue about chibi stuff and golf and you know, stuff like that. Donnie talking about disc golf for 35 minutes, you know, stuff like that. We appreciate y'all. So that pretty much wraps up episode 100. Now, big announcement for episode 101. I did tease it in that same video that I hinted not so subtly that Gabe was coming aboard. You might have seen this. This guy here, Justin Warner, winner of season 8 of Food Network Star, has his own show on Food Network, appears on pretty much every show as a judge or a contestant as well. Will be joining us live Monday night. We're recording. So we're recording a little bit earlier, but he's on. He's a big Nintendo fan, especially in Splatoon and stuff like that. So Justin Warner, Food Network Star, will be live with us on Monday. So be sure to check that out. So we plugged everything. We had Gabe on. We can check that off our PSVG bucket list. So we do know, boys and girls, that, you know, you're busy. Life can catch up to you. Things get in the way. You know, you're busy with them kids and wives and 9 to 5s. But we will remind you to never stop gaming.